Nobody saw this coming. The dates don't match, the stories don't match, the genetics don't match, but someone just blew the lid off one of the most carefully curated public images in recent memory. Candace Owens just ripped open a sealed chapter of Erika Kirk's past, and the receipts are far more shocking than anyone ever imagined. What started as a whisper about a secret daughter has exploded into a digital wildfire of conflicting timelines, hidden relationships, and impossible explanations. And now the internet is left asking the same question. Could everything Erika Kirk has told the world be a carefully constructed illusion? Stick with this, because what appeared to be another conspiracy theory is turning into something far deeper, far stranger, and far more disruptive to the narrative she spent years building. But this is only the beginning. And just when you think you've heard it all, the next revelation twists everything you thought you knew. What comes next will turn the story on its head. It all starts at a seemingly ordinary political rally in Arizona, back in 2015. Erika Kirk was there with her mother, Lori Francini. To her left, a young man, later identified as Tyler Massey. Right between them, a little girl. At first glance, it was just another photo from another campaign event. But now, multiple sources are claiming that the girl was not a random child, but the secret daughter of Erika Kirk and Tyler Massey. Not just speculation, we're talking about photos from a professional photo studio, captioned with warm-hearting lines about love, laughter, and perfection. The studio's own social posts labeled Erika and JT Massey as a couple. But here's where things start to crack. According to public records and witness accounts, the timeline at that moment doesn't add up. There's a missing year in Erika's life, between 2014 and 2015, where she had reportedly vanished from public view. Her official explanation? She was in contact only with her pastor, her mother, and one Tyler Massey. But as we peel back the layers, the timing of pregnancies, appearances, and public statements begins to defy logic. The age the little girl appears to be doesn't match the pregnancy window Erika publicly acknowledged. This isn't a small inconsistency, it's a pattern. And patterns don't lie, even when people do. But the real shockers are yet to come. And believe it or not, that photograph was just the opening act. In 2014, Erika Kirk seemed to disappear off the face of the earth. No public posts, no events, just silence. According to her own accounts, she was keeping a pregnancy private, a sacred time she described as growing a human inside of me. Words that were meant to be emotional, personal, sacred. But here's the problem. If she was pregnant in 2014 and the girl seen at the 2015 rally was her daughter, then something about that story doesn't add up. Simple math tells us that unless this child aged at supernatural speed, she couldn't possibly be the baby Erika claims she carried. Yet, this conflict hasn't stopped the rumors. In fact, it's fanned the flames. Because if Erika was pregnant in 2014, and people close to the circle say she was, then where did the child go? Why was she never publicly acknowledged? And how did a girl who looks older than she should be end up in that photograph with Tyler and Lori? But here's the twist. The discrepancies don't end with dates. They bleed into every subsequent explanation Erika gave about her disappearance, her relationships, and her sudden rise to prominence. The official narrative makes sense until you slow it down and look closer. And when you do, you start to see something far more calculated underneath. But that's not all, because what follows next reshapes the entire origin story. Erika Kirk has told the world that she didn't date in Manhattan. She's insisted her involvement with politics and leadership organizations was divine intervention. She said she met key figures only briefly, only once, only by chance. But each of those statements now faces public contradiction. One of her most widely shared lines was that she did not date in Manhattan, as if her avoidance of the dating world was part of her virtue. Yet multiple sources have debunked that claim entirely. That's just the beginning. But even more striking is her explanation of how she connected with Turning Point USA. On video, she said she met Tyler Bower for the first time at the 2015 Arizona Trump rally. She said he invited her to work with the group, an opportunity she turned down because she planned to move to New York. That version sounds neat and organic, the kind of serendipitous tale public figures love to tell. Except, according to people who were actually there, that's not what happened. Candace Owens and others now insist that Erika and Tyler knew each other long before that rally, exchanging messages and conversations off camera, hidden from public view. Tyler didn't just run into her. He'd already been in contact. He'd already extended opportunities. He wasn't a random man in the crowd. He was a strategist. So the question becomes not if she knew him before, but why she chose to conceal it. Hidden history isn't accidental, and now you're starting to see why. But we're only scratching the surface. Behind the scenes of every engineered rise is someone doing the engineering. In this case, the names Lori France and Tyler Bower keep resurfacing, not as casual acquaintances, but as the strategic matchmakers between Erika Kirk and Charlie Kirk. According to sources close to the story, Lori didn't just attend events with Erika. She managed multiple LLCs, hosted strategic meetings, and had a network that went far beyond social support. Tyler Bower wasn't just present. He had a history of political maneuvering and, according to public records, was tied to multiple legal challenges, including felony accusations that allegedly required a presidential pardon. This is not small noise. This is real-world influence. Candace Owens and insider sources now say that the entire connection between Erika and Charlie may not have been divine chance at all, but a carefully orchestrated setup, a strategic introduction, arranged by people who had everything to gain by placing her at the center of a movement. Imagine this: a private message exchange, a behind-the-scenes plan, a crafted opportunity, all aligning at just the right moment so that Erika appears to be a self-made figure of inspiration. It's a plot that reads stranger than fiction, and yet the players involved are real. But what about Charlie Kirk himself? That's where things take another dramatic turn. Because what happened next changes everything. According to Erika, her rise to prominence was nothing short of a miracle, divine intervention guiding her to the exact moment that would define her public life. She described meeting the leader of TPUSA as something written in the stars, a fateful runway encounter in Israel that somehow turned into professional opportunity years later. But once again, multiple sources now say that story was not exactly as shared. Instead of a moment of divine timing, the narrative appears to have been planted with purpose. Tyler Bower, according to recordings and witness testimony, publicly stated that Erika called him asking how to get involved, and he responded not as a chance acquaintance, but as someone who already knew her and positioned her behind the presidential candidate at the rally. That's not random. That's influence. Then came the office opening, the arranged meeting, the handshake that launched a public journey. And suddenly, the idea that Erika just happened to be at the right place at the right time begins to look engineered, orchestrated. But here's the thing that still puzzles people. If all of these connections were crafted, why was Erika's past kept so murky? Why were relationships, timelines, and explanations so inconsistent? And that question only gets louder when we move to the next layer. Because what if the story's core secret isn't just about influence, but about something far more personal? Among the most persistent whispers orbiting this whole controversy involve one name that keeps reappearing: McKenna, Tracy Martin's daughter. A child seen frequently alongside Erika in personal vacations, close moments, and inner circle gatherings. On the surface, McKenna is described as a friend's child, a personal assistant, someone woven into Erika's life, but not by blood. But critics online are now asking an unthinkable question. What if McKenna isn't just Tracy's daughter? What if she's Erika's hidden child? This speculation didn't arise out of nowhere. It came from the same timeline contradictions, the same gaps in public record, the same uncomfortable mismatches between what was said and what was documented. If Erika was indeed pregnant in that mysterious window between public appearances and personal silence, then where did that child go? Why never acknowledged? Why was information so consistently vague? Some point to the way the girl in the 2015 rally photo appears old enough to be more than just a family friend's daughter. Others point to the remarkable closeness displayed in travel photos, phone metadata, and private interactions between Erika and McKenna, interactions that appear far more intimate than an assistant relationship typically would be. And yet, none of this has been officially confirmed. Not by Erika, not by anyone in her camp. The official record remains tight, unyielding, and frustratingly opaque, which begs the question, when timelines blur and familiar faces keep reappearing, is that coincidence or is it design? But we haven't even reached the final twist, because the real fallout is still unfolding.
Now you see why this story refuses to die. Multiple timelines, overlapping narratives, hidden connections, and murky explanations leave more questions than answers. The photo, the pregnancy window, the strategic introductions, the alleged child, when you slow it down and look closely, the plot thickens, and every detail becomes a thread pulling at something much larger. Is Erika Kirk hiding a secret she never wanted revealed? Were her relationships, both professional and personal, engineered behind the scenes? And could McKenna be more than just an assistant's daughter? The answers are still out there, buried in timelines, unexplained contradictions, and silent gaps in explanation. And until those come into the light, speculation will only grow more intense. We want to know what you think. Could there be truth behind these claims? Or is this just the internet chasing shadows? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss. If you thought this was wild, don't go anywhere. The next video dives even deeper into the twists we couldn't fit here.